Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV with your host here, Dano, giving you the best content that you're going to find on the internet. I promise you, if you stay for 10 minutes, you're going to stay for the entire show because we have Betty Hoeffner here on the show, the co-founder of Hey Ugly, which is empowering the youth to be part of the solution to bullying, racism, substance abuse, and suicide. And we're going to be talking about bullying, how to prevent it, how to develop some mental fortitude in order, to combat if you are a victim of bullying or if you are being a bully, how we can go about these ways in order to combat it and spread more love into this world. So, Betty, what do you have to say to the Positivity Posse before we get started today?
Well, since you're all about motivation, Dano, and thank you for having me on the show, by the way, I hope that this show motivates your audience to be good to themselves and be kind to themselves and then pass it on.
I love that. And thank you so much, because that's another topic that we're going to be talking about, is a topic that you kind of opened my mind to that I never really thought about, which is self-bullying. But everybody, if you want to get all the golden nuggets and just the river and flowing of great information that Betty has to offer, you're going to have to stick around for the entire episode. So grab your popcorn, grab your sodas, because it's time to be here, present in the moment, for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Let's get it, everybody. Back, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today on Weekly Dose of Dano TV to experience all the great topics and the serious topic that we're going to be talking today about bullying and bullying prevention. October is Bullying Prevention Month, and this is just such a great time to bring this into fruition and to talk about it, because now more than ever, we need to talk about the topic of bullying with the addition of social media and maybe some things that are going on in the home and just the mental health that really needs to be talked about in the world today. I'm just so happy to be able to bring this on to you guys, just to help combat all of the negativity that's going on in this world and where the source of it all comes from. And what better person than Betty Hoeffner to bring onto the show, an expert, truly an expert in her field, and helping just the youth and the adults in this world that still are maybe holding on to those negative feelings about bullying. But like I said, it's Bullying Awareness Month, October, and I'm just so happy to be able to bring this content to you guys. But before we bring Betty onto the show, I just want to talk about some of the comments really quick. Carmen, thank you. Looking good. I appreciate it. I'm just, we got to take care of ourselves on the inside, and then it's just going to be a reflection of what goes on our outside as well. So thank you, Carmen. You're looking good as well. I see in your profile picture with that bright, beautiful smile. Thank you for being here today. Janelle, love the cleave shaver look. Keep it up. Thank you so much. Hashtag Positivity Posse. My man, Lou, you already know what's going on. And to everybody that's watching right now, whether it's live or on the replay, please make sure you drop a hashtag Positivity Posse as well, so that I know that you're vibing and you're feeling all of this great heartfelt content that we're going to be talking about today and every single week here on Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Beatrice Davis, what a great topic. So amazing to see you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Looking amazing tonight. We got to do everything that we can. And like I said, when it comes to looking amazing, my tip to you guys is to please take care of your inner health, your mental health, because it will shine through in every single thing that you do. Because what we do in small things, we end up doing in all things, right? So take care of yourself from the inside first, and you'll see the results on the outside. Great to see Betty on here. Thank you, Anthony, for dropping that comment for today. I'm super excited to have her here today. So enough about me rambling. There's one more thing that I want to talk to you guys about before we bring Betty on, to hear about all of her amazing, impactful stories and how we are combating bullying. But a few weeks ago, we had Gear Nest come onto the show. He is the gentleman who designed the fragrance for Disney for the Frozen fragrance. And he actually sent us a care package that I'm super excited to share with you guys. This is a traveling case that he sent over, and he sent a few little, not really little, but a few important things as well in this gift bag. And I just wanted to share it with you guys because I use some of these products and they have been absolutely amazing. I've gotten so many compliments on the skin, like you guys are saying, looking good tonight. It is a compliment of all of the great things that he sent me. So the best one that I think is so far is the cologne that he's used or that he sent me. He designed this fragrance coming from the freshest ingredients that you're going to find in Norway, all bottled into this bottle. The notes that I can tell you guys are the flavor profile or the smell profile, not flavor, right? You don't want to taste it. But the smelling profile for this, I can describe it as kind of like fresh and floral and woody. And interestingly enough, I was trying to go, well, not trying, I went shopping for some different colognes. And I wish I would have found this earlier because I'm going to be going to Nashville, just to let you guys know, in about 2 weeks. And let me tell you, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it back because I know the women are going to be going crazy about this smell. And we'll see. Hopefully, I come back in one piece, but you're going to have to stick around for the episode in about 3 weeks to find that out. But seriously, if you're watching this and you need a cologne that smells very floral and woody and fresh, go pick up a bottle of the Gear Nest. He also sent me some colognes right here, or cologne, not cologne, the fragrance, the deodorant right here as well, and a few facial products here as well. And this has been absolutely amazing. So thank you so much to Gear Nest for coming onto the show and actually, sending this gift because I'm just very grateful and I use it every day. And if you guys, like I said, need something or a product, go check it out at gearnest.com and he's going to give you the hookup as well. Like I said, here's just inside the case. One little cool thing too is that this actually had a hook on here that I had no idea about. So when you're in the bathroom traveling and you don't want to put your stuff on the counter or on the floor, you can have it hooked up here and you can put your toothbrushes and everything that you got, the Gear Nest deodorant, everything that you need can hang up there as well. So I just wanted to say thank you so much again for the care package. And we really appreciate you being on here for today. And man, we have to talk about Betty's story, how she started the Hey Ugly company. And I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but Hey Ugly is an acronym. It's not just calling somebody a bad name. Hey Ugly stands for unique, gifted, lovable you. So we're going to take that going forward. Write that down. Grab your pencils, grab your notebooks, because Betty is about to come on and share some of her revolutionary techniques that she has been teaching to the kids in order to change their mindsets. And she is just an industry leader in the world of bullying prevention and other things as well. Like we said, bullying, racism, substance abuse, and suicide. So everybody, drop some fire emojis, drop whatever you have to do to welcome Betty onto the show, because it's time, after so many weeks of trying to get her on, to come onto the show as well. Hype it up. Let's get it, everybody. How you doing today?
I am so happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you for being here today. Like I said, we have a lot to talk about today in such a short amount of time. I know you're a very busy woman with changing the lives of the youth and the next generation. And I'm sorry to take you away from it for an hour, but you have to come to talk to the Positivity Posse so we can hear about all the great stories that you have to share with us for today. So
let's tell you, because we're all about positivity, we took a negative and turned it into a positive. That's exactly what Sporty King, my co-founder, did. So I'll tell you that whole story.
Yeah, so that's a perfect place to start. So let's jump right into it right now. Betty, talk about how everything got started with, since you are the co-founder, like you said, with Sporty King. Tell us how Hey Ugly came about.
Well, I was right after 9/11, and I was a publicist for many years. I represented people like Muhammad Ali, Apollo 13 astronaut Jim Lovell, a lot of different companies and things like that. But there was something inside of me that just wasn't being fulfilled, and I knew I wanted to do something. And a friend of mine, he had a show on WGN television that aired all over the country called Sporty King. Called me and he said, "Hey, I'm doing public speaking now. I want you to come and hear me speak to 350 middle school kids in Chicago." So I'm there. So I went, I sat back with the teachers. All these kids get bussed in Chicago. And he comes out on stage and he goes, "I am ugly. U.G.L.Y. ugly." And he talked about growing up in Harlem, New York, and never feeling good enough. He wasn't as smart as one brother. He couldn't play basketball as good as the other. All this, all that. And then he said to the kids, sometimes I felt so bad, I even thought about killing myself. Anybody here feel that way? And 2/3 of the hands went up.
Wow.
And I was like, I remember thinking about taking my life when I was that age. And I immediately went, all right, I need to do something. But he goes on in his speech and he talks about, but then he turned it into a positive. And he realized that we all are unique. We're all gifted. We're all lovable. But he went into expansive things. And so at the end of it, these kids are leaving going, no, I'm ugly. No, I'm ugly. No, I'm ugly. So I said, Sporty, you know, I've been wanting to do something. I didn't know what it is. I think it's this. How can I help you? And he said, all I want to do is public speaking, you know, school assemblies and things like that. So I said, okay, well, since you took the negative word ugly and turned it into positive acronym, why don't we ask kids all over the country to take negative words and turn them into positives? So the first year, the 20 years we've been doing this now. So if you've got any students out there, 7 to 17, have them check out heyugly.org and look at the contest, because they could win $100 if they get the acronym of the year. But so that first year, a girl from Texas took the word loser and turned it into love others, show everyone respect.
Wow.
Then,
absolutely amazing.
One year, a boy took stupid and turned it into stop to understand people's individual differences.
Woo! Yeah, that I'm glad that one was the winner. That's powerful stuff right there.
And then a girl asked us to add hate and racism to our list, and she won that year for turning racism into remove all color, I'm simply me.
Wow. See, so everybody out there, I just love how the tone is starting for the show, because Betty's telling you the keys in order to turn whatever negative experience that you have into a positive. And Betty, I know with Hey Ugly, you guys have a lot of programs and tools to help these kids in maybe the inner cities or just even around the world. So what are some of the tools and programs that you teach in the schools to create a safer environment for these students?
Well, we don't teach, we elicit. We elicit the wisdom of these kids. I remember when I was young and people come in and tell me stuff, it wouldn't stick with me. But if they asked for my help, if they wanted to know what I thought about something, and we go in and we ask, how would you guys like to help kids all over the world? How would you like to help them stop bullying? And they go, yes. We did this 18 years now or something like that. Anyway, the first Stop Bullying Task Force that we worked with, we said, well, what causes bullying? They come up with all the answers. What are some ways to not get bullied? Blah, blah, blah. We did the whole thing. And then we do some exercises with them. And then we turned it into a book so that other kids all over the country can actually use the exercises. School can use the exercises. And then the kids can get all of the information that's stuck inside of them out. So within that group, in the bullying group, there's bullies, there's victims, and there's also bystanders. And quite often, the bully doesn't even know that they're a bully. So by going through that process where all these kids are sitting around and talking in free flow, if they've been holding anything inside, which is one of the biggest things we try to do, is to help them understand the importance of unlocking all those hurt feelings inside of them and setting them free. That can happen in that particular environment. We also have one called Deal, Feel, Heal, which is about substance abuse. We ask the question, what causes you guys pain? Number one answer, being beat by our fathers.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Then we say, well, what do you do with the pain? And they stuff it, and they do drugs, alcohol, all the other kind of stuff, addiction. And then we open their eyes to things that they could be addicted to other than like smoking, drugs, alcohol, et cetera, et cetera. We say, well, do you think, anybody who's in drama all the time? And
yeah, we can all think of somebody like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I go, I was that person. When I was young, I was told I was stupid. I was worthless. I would never amount to anything. Mm-hmm. And I was ugly. So I really believe that, because if your parents are telling you that, then they wouldn't lie to you, right? Mm-hmm. So I had to hide that. I became a bully. I became a mean girl at school. I was one of the popular girls. I was a cheerleader and all this other kind of stuff. And the entire time, Dano, I felt worthless. I felt, until I was 42 years old, I felt worthless and unimportant.
Wow.
So having all of that and carrying all that baggage and then being able to get rid of all that baggage, which was, wonderful. It was like, it's time to pay it forward.
100%. And your organization, like I said, is leading the industry in bullying prevention. And it's just so amazing to see, especially nowadays, with the addition of social media, that we have people that are actively fighting for these kids and their mental health. And I want to talk to you about that a little bit. I know maybe bullying and mental health was probably not really talked about maybe when you were in school. I know for me, it was maybe talked about just a little bit, but people didn't really, entertain it and they just blew it off. And now we have, the social media now where even when students go home, they can still face bullying even at their own home. So
Right.
Can you give us a gauge? Has bullying been, getting progressively worse, or has it been getting, better?
It's a tough question to ask somebody who was bullied as a very young child,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's the same. Because do you know where most bullying takes place?
At the home? Oh,
Right here. Somebody
wow.
calls you a terrible name and you repeat it to yourself thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And then you carry it on you. A friend of mine, Michael Chimura, he wrote the book, You Are the Answer. I highly recommend it. He tells a story about how negative thoughts stick to you and other people can see it. So the bully can see it. So the bully could immediately come in and into a room and notice you and know they can pick on you because you've got all these thoughts already in your head. He talked specifically about homeless people, and how, there's some homeless people you can look at and then there's other ones you can't. And the ones you can't is because all these negative thoughts of the people that have seen them that stick on their body make it very difficult because that energy is vibrating. So I remember when I was living in Chicago, there was this one homeless lady outside of the Walgreens that I would always see. And it was hard for me to look at her. And I thought, I'm going to experiment with this. So I went over to her, and with as much love in my heart, because love is what will help to erase some of those other opinions of other people that are stuck on her. And we start talking, and I asked her about her life, and she was downsized. She was a big shot businesswoman. She was downsized, lost her job, and became homeless. And I took her out to dinner, and we talked, and I could see some of it melting off of her. So just imagine what your negative thoughts are having to yourself inside of you. You already know that. You know that voice. But what it's also doing to people that aren't coming to you, you're not able to shine your light.
Mm-hmm.
So it's healthy because you're put in, and it's motivational for you. And here's how I looked at it, how I describe it in my book is a parrot. It's a parrot. It's just repeating what somebody else said, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a parrot. It doesn't know what it's saying. It doesn't have it doesn't really carry any weight, but we keep repeating it over and over and over. So when I finally realized that, I looked at the parrot and I go, you've been around for a really long time. I like you. Why don't you go out with the other parrots? I'm replacing you with a dove. And
I love that.
Yeah, every time and we talk to the kids about this too. And the number one thing they said when they leave our assemblies or one of our programs is that they learn how to stop the negative voice in their head and replace it with something positive. So, and I would do that. I walk down the street and I'd look at somebody and I would negatively be judging them what their clothes were, this, that, and the other kind of stuff. And I got that because that's what I grew up with. I was being negatively judged. We won't go there, but
yeah, and it's just so amazing. I love that too, because that is one of the things that we're not taught, and that you're taking it by the reins to to change that narrative in this world. Because a lot of people say, oh well, just don't listen to that person. But what if those words that did ended up sticking? How do we get rid of them? And I know we can all think about a time or a baby bully that we've experienced in our lives, but thank you so much for not only giving these kids, the positive encouragement that they need, but the strategies that they can use in order to shake off, like you said, this negative programming. Betty, we just got to play a quick word from our first sponsor for the show for today. But when we come back, we're going to be talking about what strategies Hey Ugly uses to reach the most amount of kids, and what we can take from ourselves, because it doesn't have to necessarily just be the youth. What strategies we can take going forward that when we wake up tomorrow, we can implement them and start to be the change that we want to see in the world. So we're just going to play a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with some more content, fire content for you guys on Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And thank you to It Takes a Village Housing, our first sponsor. Hit the tape.
Takes a village about keeping our families together.
God bless this organization.
What a cool organization.
Say that one more time.
What a cool organization.
Oh, yeah, they're absolutely amazing. They help kind of the similar same thing with you. They help women and children that have been affected by drugs and alcohol by giving them housing and any medical services that they may need in order to fight whatever it is that they're going through. So thank you to It Takes a Village Housing of South Jersey for being a sponsor of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. And now it's time to go back to talk about Hey Ugly. And Betty, I need you to tell me what strategies have been the most effective that Hey Ugly uses in order to reach a wider audience in the young people.
I wish we don't have a great strategy to reach a number of students. We're 100% volunteer nonprofit organization, so we can't afford big advertising and things like that. So being on shows like yours really helps. We have a radio show. We just celebrated 15 years on air called Choose to Change, where we have kids take songs, because music saved my life. I don't know about you, but the lyrics of songs made me feel like I was okay. I wasn't the only one. Mm-hmm. And so the same things with the young people. And so we say, what songs should we play? And then we play them. And sometimes we have the artist on the show. So, but anyway, the two things I want to give to your audience, which we give to the students, which they say benefit them the most. And I'll let your audience know that this stuff really works, because we just had an article hit in the newspaper, and the headline was, "Bullied Youth Becomes President of Nonprofit That Saved His Life." And that's Victor Vargas. And when he was 12 years old, we worked with him on our Human Being Project, our Ending Racism Project, not knowing he was suicidal, not knowing he was being bullied since he was in second grade, not knowing he had a gun put to his head when he was 12 years old, none of that. And then we later on worked with him in our Stop Bullying program, same time. So then we became friends. He's now a rapper and a producer and all this other kind of stuff. But he got voted. He was on we put him on our board of directors because he said Hey Ugly saved his life when he was suicidal. And now he is helping. He's going into schools, doing assembly, et cetera, et cetera. So he knew these exercises, and he wants me to tell you them also. The number one is, when you're having that negative thought about yourself, picture a little P or something between your finger, whatever it is, or that you're using, your cell phone, and just knock it out, squish it out, and immediately replace it with something positive, whether you're having a negative thought about yourself or somebody else. And the more you do with the movement, the deeper that it will stick with you. And it feels kind of dorky in the very beginning, but You have to set your intention. I want to stop these negative thoughts in my mind. Anything you want to do, you have to set your intention. And then you just practice this every day, every day. Like I said, I made negative judgments about other people and myself all the time. Now I don't. I really don't make negative judgments about other people. I myself still a little bit every once in a while with that. And then the other one, this is from Michael Chimura. He said that we carry with us, just like that homeless person, other people's opinions of us. It sticks on us. So what you can do to do that is to pretend like you're sitting on a tree trunk and the roots of the tree go deep into the ground. And so you sit there and you close your eyes and you say these words: anyone whose energy is not mine, get off of my body. And then you close your eyes and you picture in front of it. He pictures a rose. I picture a magnet, a big horseshoe magnet.
Yeah.
Just wait. And then you kind of almost even see little speckles. And then you blow it up.
I love that.
That's it. He does it like 20 times a day sometimes.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you're going inwards and you're releasing that energy, because a lot of people don't know that, like you said, words are energy, right? If you're directing an energetic attack at somebody, if you're saying negative things, number one, it's going to stick with that person in the form of energy. But number two, it also comes back at you, because whatever you say about other people is a reflection of you. So if you know that these people that you're engaging with and dealing with are in a negative headspace, always remember this, that it doesn't have anything to do with you. It has everything to do with them. And I want to share with you one of my favorite quotes of all time in order that to combat bullying, which I didn't know it was at the time. And it's the corniest quote in the world, but it absolutely works. And you've probably heard of it. And so have the viewers. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. I know that sounds corny, but when you really sit here and you use that as an affirmation through your everyday life, you know that everything that people say is, number one, a reflection of themselves. And two, like Betty, you just said, when you don't give the words value, they have no power over you. And I absolutely love it. So thank you for sharing those updates and those strategies. But I want to share a quick clip that I found online of you being on the Steve Harvey Show. And I think everybody's going to love this clip. So let's play this clip for you guys and drop your comments afterwards and let me know what you think. Here was Betty on the Steve Harvey Show. Please enjoy this clip, everybody.
Earlier this season, we had someone here from the anti-bullying organization called Hey Ugly, who helped a teen cope with being bullied. Now, Hey Ugly stands for Unique, Gifted, Lovable You. And the episode really resonated with our audience. Here to explain from Hey Ugly, please welcome Betty Hoeffner. Hi, Betty. Welcome.
Looking good, Betty. You're looking good.
So what happened after the show aired?
Steve, I mean, our phones start ringing off the hook. We were getting calls from parents who had kids who were being bullied, so we were able to be service to them. And then we were getting calls from adults that were bullied when they were kids that are still carrying some pain around with them. So they wanted to help us raise funds because we're 100% volunteer nonprofit organization. So they started doing all sorts of different things. A lady in Nashville, Tennessee, by the name of Gloria Connolly, she's a travel agent. She's working on a 7-day luxury cruise to Alaska. A percentage of that money is going to be coming back to Hey Ugly so we can bring our programs to Alaska there. And so I want to thank everybody that contacted us. And because of your show, I want to thank you so much and your amazing staff. The thing I like about you the most is the wisdom that you share with your audience. And when you were talking to those kids today, you were talking to those kids today about turning around and facing a bully. That's exactly what we do with the kids. We wrote a book called The Stop Bullying Handbook with middle school kids, and they came up with a saying: look at the bully and say, who's treating you so mean that you have to be mean to me?
You were approached by a company because of this.
Oh my God. A company in Great Britain, a software company, supplies schools with early warning signs for bullying and violence. And they're bringing their programs to the United States of America. Their name's Impero, and they selected us to be their bullying consultant on that.
Oh, wow. That's really good.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Thank you so much. Hey, folks, welcome.
Wow, absolutely amazing stuff. So can you talk about kind of, did you ever expect for you and your organization to be on the Steve Harvey Show and achieve such great heights? When did you realize you can get to those levels?
Well, I was in publicity for a gazillion years, so I was getting people on the Today Show and things like that. But you know what? I was like the shoemaker. I didn't do it for Hey Ugly. So when the phone rang and it was Steve Harvey, it was like, oh my God, this is fabulous. And so they also brought in one of our speakers, Devin Rush, who was on American Idol, who goes into this. Every one of our speakers have been bullied, and they've survived it, and they've thrived because of it. So it was a gift. It was a gift from the universe that Steve Harvey called us, for sure. And having us on that show, that helped a lot. And other media called us because of that also.
And that's so great that you were able to get on there so he can help you. And like I said, or like you said earlier, being on here so we can do everything that we can to help. Betty,
Yeah.
if there's somebody that's watching and they want to give to your nonprofit, whether it's time or monetary or anything, where can they go to reach you, and how can we help?
HeyUgly.org. We have a donation tab. Our phone number is right up, our email's at the top, and our phone number. Call, email. We're looking for volunteers. Yes, thank you very, very, very much.
Yeah, 100%. Because I know with the Positivity Posse, we're always trying to do everything that we can to elevate ourselves and to elevate other people around us as well. We have Anthony right here that says another great clip from the Steve Harvey Show. Absolutely amazing. We're just going to play another word from our sponsors really quick. And when we come back, Betty, we're going to be talking about some of the techniques that you use in order to build mental fortitude, in order to not let these things get to us on a day-to-day basis. So let's just play a quick word from our next sponsor, and we'll be right back after a word from Weekly Dose of Dano, everybody. Or after a word from the Elks Lodge, excuse me. Sponsor, thank you so much for the Elks Lodge for sponsoring Weekly Dose of Dano TV. And Betty, thank you so much for being here. And to my viewers and to my audience, thank you so much for watching Weekly Dose of Dano TV. So Betty, when you talk about energy and trying to clear it, that is something that not a lot of people know about. When did you start to believe and start to understand that when you clear the energy of having that magnet or sitting on that, tree trunk that you mentioned earlier, when did you realize, wow, this stuff is real and I need to share it with other people?
It was right after I turned 42. I quit a 4-pack of cigarettes habit, addiction, cold turkey, and then all of a sudden, the energy started changing. I went and I saw a friend, and she was kind of like a gray, and all of a sudden she was glowing. I said, hey, what are you doing? She goes, I started seeing an inner child worker. So I go, okay, I want it to look that good. So I said, I'll see this inner child worker. And I went in, and I sat down, and she goes, why are you here? And I said, I don't want to spend the next 42 like I did the first 42. And so and then I start crying. And I go, why am I crying? And she goes, why do you poop? She didn't say that word, but poop. And I just went, well, I think we're going to get along together really well. But what do you mean? And she goes, every morning when you go to the bathroom, you go, what did I eat? What's going to come out? No, you have things inside of you that have to come out. You have stuff inside of you for how long? And I remember it every time my dad hit me when I was a kid. I'd go, didn't hurt. And then he'd hit me again. I go, didn't hurt. And then everything else in my life became didn't hurt. So I had all this hurt inside of me. And so many people have all this hurt inside of you. And so release it. And one of the best ways to release it for somebody who never cried is crying. Another way is singing at the top of your lungs, which I love to do when I'm alone in the car. And I don't know about you, Dano, but and beating a pillow with a racket and all this other kind of stuff. Get it out. You don't need to name it. And then what happens is your lights start shining. I went to a hypnotherapist. I got to tell the story. So he takes me to this place and he goes, okay, look at that wall. Tell me, what color is that wall? I go, black. And he goes, all right, look to your right. There's a hose. And I'm going, okay. I take the hose. I start, I don't waste time. I start going like this to the wall. And he goes, I go, I'm already spraying it down. And then I burst out crying. Even though I'm laying on this couch, I'm crying. And he goes, what? He goes, what color is it? I said, it's Taj Mahal gold. And he goes, what? Taj Mahal? Why are you crying? He goes, it's me. It's me. I've always black, no light. And that's when everything starts changing. And when you're shining your light, you're helping other people to either shine their light or want to shine their light. And then you draw them to you. And so before, I was with a bunch of dark people that were angry all the time. I was angry all the time and, controlling and all this other kind of stuff. And then those two experiences, inner child work, I highly recommend it. And if you can get a hypnotherapist that can take you to those places, it's magic.
100%. Wow, I love that, because these are the things that we need to be conscious of, about the things that have happened to us maybe in our childhoods, or maybe something that happened to us last week that we choose to store away or forget about intentionally. And Betty, a big thing that people need to understand is being conscious of things that maybe they're not conscious of. Maybe, like you said, of constantly always seeing somebody on the street and just judging them. Oh, I don't like their shoes. That person's ugly. But those things, and being conscious of the things is what's going to give us the tools to be able to change it. Can you talk about that? Is that something that you've had like trouble helping these kids understand, of being conscious of how they're acting and then changing it?
They know. I was with 50 kids yesterday, and we asked them in the Deal, Feel, Heal program, what are some of the things that make students feel emotional pain? Losing loved ones, moving schools, being yelled at by your teachers, failing a test, having no friends, being lied to, being held back, all this kind of stuff. They know it. They know it inside, but they don't know how to deal with it yet. But they'll get there, because in one of the other questions is, what are some healthy ways of doing it? But I want to read something to your listeners. According to the CDC, suicide is the second leading cause of death in youth, and new analysis reports more than half reported they experienced emotional abuse by a parent or other adult in the home. During COVID, 11% experienced physical abuse by a parent or other adult in the home, including hitting, beating, kicking, or physically hurting the student. Now, wow. when you're carrying that pain with you, right? It metastasizes to your soul. When people say bullying, because it's become like just this buzzword, they don't understand that people are dying from being bullied. Kids are killing themselves. They're doing drugs. They're doing all these terrible things. The pain that they're holding inside of them metastasizes. So the key is to release the pain, to heal it, deal, feel, heal. And that's a huge part of what we do.
And I love that, because you are being the solution that these kids needs, whether they don't have it in the home or in their friends, or maybe just in the people that they're hanging around. Like you said, there's so many different ways that we can go about getting this healing that we need. And I'm just so happy that we're having this conversation, because yes, it's a little bit taboo, but we don't know what's going on inside of the homes for these kids. So just because you don't know what's going on, that doesn't mean or give you the right for them to tack on any extra negativity that they're experiencing in the home. I know it sounds corny and lovey-dovey, but we need to be that light for other people to see, to know, hey, well, it is possible. Well, you know, Betty, you know, you may have gone through some hard things and I may have gone through some hard things, but here we are talking about it today and making that difference. And Betty, a lot of people, when they go through these maybe traumatic experiences, they think that they're the only ones in the world that have gone through it. And I've talked about it time and time again on Weekly Dose of Dano when we talk about, you know, inner childs, and where it's people that have had the most lavish lifestyles and the biggest houses, but what's going on inside of that house?
Right.
Can you talk to the people that may be feeling like that right now, that think that they're the only ones going through something? Number one, you shouldn't think like that because it really is a ridiculous thought. There are billions of people in this world going through the same things, but how are you going to respond to it? But Betty, like I said, take it away and talk to these people.
Well, we have a page on our website. If you go to the home page, you'll be able to see You Are Not Alone. And we know that the number one influence on young people are their peers. Number two is the media. So we have every category we could think of. And if any of your viewers think of a new category we can add, please let us know. We'll add it. But it's like celebrities that had ADHD, celebrities that are bipolar, celebrities from divorced families, celebrities who were bullied, all of these different things, so that anyone, you know, celebrities who stutter, if you just, you know, on and on and on and on and on, you scroll down just a little bit more, you'll see it. And that's the way that we do it. We show other people that have what they might have so they don't feel alone. And when you don't feel alone and you see that these people had it and then they went on to be very successful, it gives you what? Hope.
It gives you hope.
It gives you hope, which is key. The key, having hope.
100%. And when you have that, it's always on the inside is what I'm getting from everything, that when you're taking care of your inside and you're making sure
There
that
it
you're
is.
not living.
You're not alone, right there. Right
Here
there.
it is. Trending pages, and here it is. You're not alone. 1000%, you're not alone. A lot of people go through the same things, but it's all about how you respond and turn that negative and turn it into a positive in our lives. And one tip that I can give you guys, and Betty's going to give us a few tips in a second, but one thing that you need to realize, to everybody watching, to the audience, to my positivity posse, to me, to Betty, everybody, when people show you hate, right, and they show you just, you know, things that you don't want to hear, they're really teaching you how to love yourself. And when you eat bad food in your life, you're teaching yourself what good food looks like. So with all of these things that happen in our lives, we can take it, and it's all about the contrast, and it's teaching us what we do want into our lives. Like Betty was saying earlier, she was hanging around people that, you know, were negative and dark, but she needed that to happen in order to find the friends and the support members that we need to show us what love looks like and what light looks like. So everything always has a purpose, is my tip to you guys as well. But Betty, when it comes to taking negative experiences or negative words and everything in that realm and turning it to a positive, what are some tips that you can give the viewers right now that they can turn their negatives into positives?
Oh, that's a very good question. Just do it. Just do it. We have a deck of cards. All right. Know this. All emotions boil down to two: love, fear. That's it. Love, fear. So 25 of our cards are love energy cards, and 25 are fear energy cards, and each one has an opposite. Buddha says if you're in one energy, go to its opposite. And we have two wild cards, which are gratitude. Get yourself to gratitude. Just start going. We ask kids to write a list of all the things they're grateful for. Nobody mentions their wrist. I'm grateful for my wrist. I wouldn't be able to use a mouse. I wouldn't be. How many things could you not do? When's the last time you had a conversation with your wrist to show how much gratitude you had? If we're outside of yourself and we're lacking and we're lacking and we're lacking, go inward. Not only inward, but my toenails. I mean, first thing came to my mind just now, but when have you had shown gratitude to that? Love yourself. Love yourself. And another thing is with inner child, I'm not going to tell you my age, but for every year you are, that's how many little kids you have inside of you. Some of them may still be hurting from something that happened when they were younger. So you can go in and kind of think about each one of those kids and which one's still hurting, because it's the inner kid that's reacting. It's not you. It's not you. Now, if you're a kid, you're stuck in that particular situation, and then it's jobs like our organization and other organizations go in and empower them, give them the power, and give them the tools to be able to feel good about themselves.
100%. I love that. I love that. And I love that again. Betty, if I had to guess how many kids you have, you only have about 30. So, you know, you don't have to share with everybody as well, but I'm going to do it for you. It's absolutely amazing that you're giving these kids, especially in the ones that are in the negative environments, like you said, an opportunity to change and give them the good feelings that they deserve and the self-confidence that we were born with, you know, that we're rightful. It's our birthright to receive self-confidence. It's in our birthright to receive an abundance of money, if that's what you want, an abundance of good energy, an abundance of a great support system. You're giving these kids an opportunity to see that, and they can take that going forward when they have kids to fight the negative things that the programming that we've been, you know, experiencing, whether it's in the news outlets or the social medias, or even, like you said, in our inner environment. So thank you so much for doing that. We're just going to play one more commercial from our last sponsor for today. And when we come back, I want you to talk about future projects, you know, and what are the plans for Hey Ugly moving forward in the future. So we're just going to play one more sponsor really quick, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Did you know you can apply to over 50 historically black colleges and universities at the same time for only $20? You can with the Common Black College application. Hello, my name is Robert Mason. I'm the founder of the CBCA. Students around the world have completed the application and received multiple acceptance letters, financial aid packages, and scholarship offers. So visit our website at commonblackcollegeapp.com to apply now. And don't forget to pick up the book, Get Educated, The Man Behind the Common Black College Application. Thank you.
Thank you so much for our third sponsor for sponsoring Weekly Dose of Dano TV. And Betty, I'm just so happy that you are here today to speak to our viewers, to speak to the Positivity Posse and our audience members, to help them understand that it goes way deeper beyond bullying, right? It's not just somebody has a negative interaction or students have a negative interaction. It's all about what goes on into the home and what's going on in their inner world and how we can combat that. So thank you so much for being here. Now, when it comes to Hey Ugly, what are some future plans, or what can people expect from you in the very near future and maybe 5 years down the line?
We are going to be building up. We have a YouTube channel called Bullying Prevention TV. So most of the videos were made by young people, and we want to get more and more and more viewers on that particular thing. So that's because everything's going, you know, as you know, to videos. And we'll see what happens with that. But one thing that we didn't say that's extremely important, when we ask kids, why do people bully? Their number one answer is because somebody's bullying them. So they know. I mean, they know that this kid that's hurting them is doing it because they're being hurt.
100%. And I'm just so happy that you said that these kids know what they're doing. Because I know a lot of kids nowadays, they do know what they're doing. And even though they're still choosing to take that action, but you're giving these kids the outlets and the resources to say, hey, just because it's happening to me doesn't mean that it has to happen to somebody else. And it's not just bullying that you actually actively work on with Hey Ugly. Can you talk about other programs, you know, involving the racism aspect of everything, the LGBTQ? Can you touch on those topics as well?
Well, with the racism, I mean, that's a huge passion of mine. We have a program called the Human Being Project, HUE, Men Being Project. And we have kids standing together in a circle with their forearms touching each other, and they look, and nobody has the same hue. Nobody's skin is exactly the same hue. And then we go, okay, so now that we're done, you know, with our differences, what's common ground? What do we all have in common? And each one says something, you know, we all have feelings that get hurt, blah, blah, blah. Someone says we all have butts, and everybody giggles and all the other kind of stuff. And then we have them go draw pictures of human beings interacting in harmony and write on the artwork why it's important that we view each other as brothers and sisters. And this is one of the pictures that the kid drew. And we've got a book of 50. We selected the top 50 with their sayings, which is so, so, so powerful. And this could help us if you buy our books. It helps. The 100% of the proceeds go directly to our profits. So that's the Human Being Project. Yeah, we have Project Apologize. We were contacted by a woman that was on Big Brother, and she said she was being bullied. There were hate groups about her, and it made her think about when she bullied this one boy when she was in high school. So his name was Mark. She wanted to be in with the popular girls. So the popular girl said, okay, you see that boy, Mark, over there? Make him fall in love with you, and then drop him like a hot potato. So she did. So
wow.
And then so years later, she called him and she apologized. And so I talked to him, and he said, you know, what she did wasn't right. But what happened to me is I was a laughing stock of school. I became suicidal. I started cutting. I didn't want to live anymore. I was so embarrassed. She goes, but then he got into karate, and now he's this big karate guy going on. But he said what she did was wrong, but what I did was wrong also. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't share my pain with other people. So that's when we decided, well, why don't we have people apologize? You know, send your apology to us, to somebody that you, and really go and apologize to that person, and then let us know how it went. Don't do it to make yourself feel good, but it will make you feel good.
100%.
So we have so many different, if you go to the site, there's just we try to think of absolutely every way we could do. For the suicide, we came up with why I'm glad I didn't take my life. And we have videos of young people who were suicidal who didn't. And now their life is so cool, you know, so cool. In fact, I sent you a video about one of them, Sonia Giovanni. So check that out if you're, you know, not feeling, or you know somebody who's not feeling well. Why I'm glad I didn't take my life.
I'm gonna bring that up because, like I said, when I was going on YouTube earlier, it wasn't really working. But let me see if it's actually, if I'm able to share it right now with everybody. Sorry, let me just make sure that you can hear this. Let me share the screen. 1 second. Boom.
In our school assemblies, we show this video, and it really helps.
Betty, I'm gonna need you to help me out here. So if you can hear the video when I start playing it, just give me a thumbs up. And this is actually one of the people that Betty helped. So just give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
Hey guys, my name is Sana Giovanni, and I'm here with Hey Ugly to tell my story of why I'm glad I didn't take my life. I'm going to start off by reading a little portion of a note that I found. I wrote it to my family and friends, and it reads, I'm so sorry. I know this decision will hurt my friends and my family, and all I can say is that I'm so, so sorry. I found this in my memory box, and I remember writing it at a time where I was really, really hurt, upset, and devastated. It all started when I lost my hair to a condition called alopecia. I woke up in the 7th grade with almost all of my hair on my pillow. With every strand of hair, I lost a strand of confidence, and that morning I was left with absolutely nothing. It only got worse when the bullying started. I got mean notes in my locker, one titled 50 Ways to Go Kill Yourself. I had an online burn page made about me. People put gum in my wigs. It was just, I felt like the whole world was out to get me. And if I did do something to myself, no one would care. It was probably one of the worst times of my life. And sometimes I ask myself, how did I get through it? I think that one thing that really got me through this was knowing that somewhere out there was someone going through the same thing that I was. And I want everybody out there to know that you are not alone. I made it through the darkness, and now I'm in a light. I love my life now, and I'm so glad I didn't take my life. I now have a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping others build self-esteem. I get to go speak and travel all around the world. All my dreams are coming true because I waited for it to get better. Life gets better, and you deserve to be here to see it happen. So hold on. If you're going through a difficult situation, know that everything is going to be okay. If you're getting bullied, know that you're not alone, and know that it's okay to go get help. I made it through the darkness, and I know that you can too. I'm glad I didn't take my life because life is beautiful.
Well, I just want to end it right there because we only have a few minutes left. But can you talk about what was your reaction when you first received that video, when you first saw it?
I knew her story, and I asked her if she would do it. She reached out to me when she was 13 years old, going through all that problems in school. And then when she got older, she told me that she was, going into schools and things like that. So if you want her to come to your school, go to our website and look at our speakers. We can have her come in and speak to your group. She's amazing. But I knew that story could help save someone who was thinking about killing themselves. There's a lot of other videos of young people there too that can help.
100%. I got to stop saying that. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I'm just feeling all the great energy. And it's just absolutely amazing to know that these kids are coming up and having that confidence to share their stories and to help others as well. So, Betty, we only have a few minutes left onto the show remaining. So we always wrap up the show with the same exact question. If somebody right now is going through their deepest, darkest times, and you're the perfect person to answer this, what advice would you have to give to this person in order to find the light and to get out of that hole or the darkness that they're in?
Go to heyugly.org, go to the helpline, and then go to the section that says suicidal ? And there you'll be able to find help if you're having struggles because you're having problems in your dating life, LGBTQ+, like you saw, the videos, anything that we could put there to be able to help you come through. And to understand that maybe, just maybe, you're going through all of this pain because it's going to help you become who it is you're supposed to become. Like I went through all of the pain that I went through as a kid and as that, adult who felt so terrible about myself, so that I could be doing what I'm doing right now and possibly helping you to be able to go and fulfill whatever your destiny is for this.
I love that.
Motivation? Was that motivation?
100%. It was amazing.
You're the king of
that time I can say it right there. But everybody, go check out the Hey Ugly page, whether it's somebody that you may know, or it may even be you that need their resources and their help. Betty has spent an hour of her time and just giving us a small glimpse into the world of bullying and how we can fight it and combat it. And it goes beyond that too with their programs of racism, substance abuse, and suicide as well. Betty, if somebody wanted to help and reach out and donate their time, money, or services, can you tell us again where they can reach out to you?
heyugly.org. Just click on the donate button.
So
and check out our products. We've got some cool t-shirts, man. One of our t-shirts says, think good, get good.
I think I saw that one down here. If I scroll down a little bit, here it is, fashion with the message. Yeah. Well, that exact one wasn't on here, but if you see one on here, like Betty said, go please support their great organization as well. And I just wanted to say one more thing as well. If there's somebody that might be going through bullying or needs to call a help or a hotline, call 1-800-273-8255. It's the hotline or the helpline set up by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to stop bullying now as well. And that number is 1-800-273-8255, or reach out to Betty Hoeffner and she can help you with anything that you may need. To my positivity posse, to my audience members and my viewers, thank you so much for being here. Please don't add to the negativity in the world and to the bullying aspects of everything. Be the change that you want to see in the world. And please help this next generation fight through the negative self-talk that they might be going through themselves. And Betty, thank you so much again for coming on, sharing your stories, and for other people to be able to reach out to you.
And thank you so much. Bravo.
Thank you. This was amazing. So everybody come back next week. We have a super secret special guest. Keep an eye out on social media because we're going to give you guys hints on who that guest is. And it's going to be an absolutely great, amazing time. So thank you again, Betty. Thank you to my positivity posse. I hope you guys have a great, safe weekend. And I'll see you next week for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano. Thank you again, Betty. We really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Peace. how are you able to tailor